Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going live. So this is the second time I tried to go live today. The first one just did not work exactly the way that we planned, but that's okay. You know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. If I'm live, please write "You are live." Am I live? Am I live? If I am, please put a 0 inside of the chat so I know that I'm here. I'm not just talking to myself, and that I am actually doing it. Because I was talking to myself for about a good 3 minutes because the thing just wouldn't load, and it just wasn't really working, okay? But today, to kind of get to the point, so how a mentorship student got 2 clients, okay? So one for about $2,000, then another for about $5,600 last week. So let's talk about how they're able to do it, and then even how they're able to do it now without necessarily just giving away their time. Because this is really, really fun. It's a kind of cool new thing that we've been adding inside of my program. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Bryce Tubbs. I got started with my accounting firm about 7 years ago. But when I first got started, I had no idea how to price my services, right? So I was trying to charge $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month. And whenever I would try and charge more money, it would always be I would get so much pushback. People would always say it's not worth it, or they just didn't really believe that accounting and bookkeeping should cost that much money, and that was more than what they used to pay their old. It was just all these different things that I had to go through. So I had to basically just overcome this journey of really spending money to buy courses, coaching, mastermind, just anything I could really get my hands on to make sure that I can make my business work. And through trial and error, paying money, I would buy something, I would try it out, I would tweak it, I would make it unique to myself. And nowadays, I'm able to run my accounting firm, and we make pretty good amount of money. In addition to that, I also have the mentorship program where I help you guys go and just grow your business to, the 6-figure levels. For some people, they don't quite want to get to the 6-figure level, and we do have ways to help you guys as well. It's just more of a matter of when do you get comfortable, right? For a lot of the students that join, they've been working a corporate job, and they're making between $100,000 to $200,000, and they need to kind of replace that income very, very quickly. Then we love being able to work with you guys as well. So number one, guys, okay, the first thing we have to do, we have to really fix your mindset with how much money is actually out there. Okay, so I was talking to this individual. Actually, I made a post about it a couple days ago about $2,000 clients and $6,000 clients and everything in between, and people were there aren't anybody who's going to be willing to do that. People aren't willing to pay you that much money. And it's well, yeah, it's because you're talking to all the low dollar amount people. If you're talking to someone who's making between 4 figures and high 5 figures a year, and that's all the business owners that you're surrounded with, yeah, it's very hard for you to charge that. They're not going to be able to pay you, $20,000 in a year if they're only making, we'll say, only making $90,000 a year. You got to start going to more on the other side of the chasm. People are doing 6, 7, and 8 figures. Okay. Now, if you want to go to 9-figure and 10-figure companies, that's I don't really encourage that because it's a lot easier for you to just be in that kind of range. But the first thing is you have to really understand money is just out there. These companies not only are making money, but sometimes they just don't know what to do with it. For example, one of my students named Mike, he just got this client who's paying him $8,000 a month, right? And the person just started their business, but they got a $1.5 million loan, right? Because they had been in a similar industry for most of their career, and they had been making, high 6 figures. And when they went to launch their business, not only did they have a lot of cash inside the bank, but he had so much expertise and so much inner industry knowledge that he was able to go and secure loans for about $1.5 million, and they're already profitable. And it's only been 3 to 5 months. And people are it's so hard to find these guys. No, they're all over the place. It's just if you don't understand what to look for, it's very hard for you to start getting people to want to go with you. Okay, so that's going to be number one. We can talk about how to find them, what to identify, what they look like in a couple minutes, but the first thing is you just have to know it's out there. And one thing to really actually put this in perspective, guys, imagine you're working with a solar company. Okay, so the company sells solar panels, puts them on people's houses or even on other businesses' buildings. Generally, those things start off at $10,000. If they're doing $10,000 a pop, you don't think they can afford to pay you, $2,000 a month? It just doesn't happen. They can pay you $500, they can pay you $1,000, they can pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. It's just going to be in relation to how much they pay you. It's in relation to how valuable they find you, how much they like you, and how much they resonate with you. Think about it. In most companies, even in corporate America, the second or third or fourth highest paid person is generally the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. Why? Because they are essentially driving the business. They're basically the CEO. They're basically the main leader of the business, right? They have so much value. If one of them goes, generally the business is going to either have to scramble to find someone to replace them or it can't go on, right? That's someone who has value. You need to start learning how to communicate that value to people. But first things first, you have to understand that money is out there and that companies are willing to pay this. Hello, Joanna. Good to see you, Joanna. Hello, Sasha. Good to see you guys. If you guys are watching this thing, before I move any further, if you're watching this, write a hashtag Team Live if you're live here with me. If you're watching this thing on the replay, write in hashtag Team Replay. And if at any time you want me to connect with you to answer some questions that you might be having about growing your business, go ahead and write hashtag connect down inside of the comments below. I'll be sure to reach out and answer those for you. Sorry guys, I forgot to do that opening thing. Now the reason why I always ask you guys to comment, to share, to just do some of these prompts is because the more people that comment and like something, the more that Facebook shows it to other people inside the community. Remember how we talked about mindset earlier, okay? You have to believe in this law of abundance, that people are just wanting to work with you, they're wanting to help you, and they want you to grow. So you got to be able to kind of pass that along too and share that with them. So by you guys commenting, you guys are really helping other people out as well. And it's going to cause you to be able to not only help people out, but if this group, if this free Facebook group gets even more abundant and more people are winning, you're going to have a lot more referral partners that want to actually help you guys out. Okay? So also, one thing to note, if you want to avoid a lot of the trial and error that comes with having to grow your business, go ahead and click on the second link inside of the either comment section or inside the description. Okay, it's going to basically book a call with me, and I can actually go look at you with your business, see exactly what you need to do to go and reach your goal, whether that's $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. Our highest student right now is doing about $35,000 a month. Right? So if you are anywhere in between there and you want to go grow your business a lot faster without having to work 1,000,000 hours every single week, go ahead and click on that link, book a call with me. Let's see if I can help you out. Okay, so number 2, okay, so where to go and find these people. So number 1, guys, you need to start going after industries that are more likely to have more money. Okay, so industries like construction. Another one is restaurants. Another one is e-commerce. Another one is cannabis. Another one is I love solar. You might hear me reference this a lot. Okay. Another one is nonprofits. Now, what do these things generally have in common? They're generally industries where there's a slightly more challenging level of bookkeeping or accounting. Okay. Now, they're also industries where people are a little bit more frazzled as business owners because they're managing contractors and because their head's just in a million different directions at one time. Okay? And the other reason why is because in some of these they get very big cash infusions, like in construction or in nonprofits. Like nonprofits get grants, and they can go from making $0 to I think one of my students, they had a client who got $1 million grant in their 5th month in business, right? So they can go from 0 to $1 million really quickly. That's who we're going after. Now with that in mind, you need to really start thinking about who in your existing circle already has these people inside of their network. Okay, a lot of people are looking for stuff outside of them. So, for example, they're I don't have anyone in my network, no one knows anybody, and I just want to go and get on a magic website like Upwork or Alignable, and then I have to go and find all these leads. In contrast to that, whenever I'm working with someone, the first thing we do is we go through their existing audience. And then we're leveraging. Okay, so I loved using LinkedIn because LinkedIn allows you to be able to look at someone's profile and actually stalk their company to see how much money is their company making, how many contractors they have, where are they located, how long have they been in business, do they actually have an accountant or bookkeeper on staff? And once you can see that, now you're saying, okay, cool. So these are some this person might be a big player. Okay, so now when you have that, now you can reach out to them both on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And then once you're doing that, your job is to start building relationships. So in order to build a relationship, you have to start asking about how is their business doing? Are they booming? What are they excited about? Why do they start their business? what do they have children? Do they play sports? Are they involved in like a gym? Do they go to like a church? Like, what are the different aspects around their life that gets them to like you? It's almost like building a friendship. A lot of people don't understand that if you can build a friendship with someone who has a lot of money, who has a need, and who just really likes you, you can charge a lot more. I was talking to a lady on the phone today, and she's going to join the program probably in the next like week and a half, but she has to go and get some finances kind of together. She was saying that she was having trouble getting the business owners to really pay more than about $200 to $400 a month. Right? And then when she actually started working with this client, she's been working with them for about 6 months, and she tried to raise the price, and the person goes, "Oh, we just can't afford to do that." But she's looking at their books every single day and sees they have literally about $200,000 in cash sitting in the bank. And they can't afford to go and bump her from, like $400 a month to $600 a month. It's not they can't afford to. One, they just don't, really value her enough, which is kind of sad. But secondly, it's just that she doesn't really have a strong enough relationship to kind of throw her weight around. For example, so Lizzie the other week, she had a client who was paying her about like $1,500 a month, right? And, it was kind of undercharging because it was before I gave her my pricing calculator, before we started working together. So we did a call and we're like, hey, this is what you need to say. This is the value you bring. This is how you can actually get the person to see you. You've been talking to this client, for a couple of weeks, right? The person actually likes you, right? Yeah, we're friends now. Oh, you're friends now. Once you have that thing where you guys feel like you're friends, you can add what's called a swagger fee. A swagger fee is, I'm going to coin this term forever, so I'm copywriting it. It's when the volume of the work says that it's worth like $1,000 or $2,000 per month. But because the person likes you, because the person might be loose with their money in some cases, and because that the person, there's another one, because the person is reacting really well to you in your previous consultations and sees you as an authority, an expert, and an advisor, you can just charge an extra $1,000, an extra $2,000. So basically just a discretionary fee just to kind of see if they'll pay it. Nicole said hashtag swagger fee. Exactly. Tammy said true. Joanna said hashtag connect. Monica said hashtag team live. Nicole said hashtag team live. Sasha gave a 0 inside the chat, guys. If you understand like this kind of principle about the relationship you have, put down a 1 inside the chat. Down a 1, and I can tell you about how to actually do the messaging sequence on LinkedIn in a couple seconds. But I want to make sure you guys understand this, because a lot of people don't really understand like why people are not willing to pay them more money, and they think it's because they're not talking to the right client, where oftentimes you can bump them up. For example, like Melissa inside of my program, right? She came in, she had like 30 clients, and they were like all over the place. All said they like you. They trust you. Trust is huge, said Tammy. Yep, exactly. Dude, trust is so critical. Like, if you're someone who just wants to kind of, like, do the work and never talk to your clients, or, it's really, really hard for you to be able to kind of bump up a price on a client, especially if they haven't seen you in a while, because then they can just be like, no thanks, right? And they have a lot of power. This can actually be seen in one of my students named Audrey. So I always joke for her because she's the ultimate like introvert, but she just does every single thing that I tell her to do. So I told her to charge a client in a particular way based on not only was she working with that person, but I told her, okay, so for about 2 weeks, every single day for 2 weeks, you need to call her for about 2 minutes or for 5 minutes, or just send her a nice message on Instagram. And she was doing it, right? And then she kept doing it. I said, okay, cool. So now go and do another consultation with her, and then say, hey, your books have changed, this has changed, XYZ thing has changed, we need to raise the price. Okay? And she's like, wait, why would she do that? I'm like, well, because now you guys are friends. Every single day you're trying to call her, you're trying to check in on her business, trying to see how things are going. You can maybe make a recommendation, you can maybe give her a tip, you can maybe do something based on the industry, what you're seeing. And then it's going to build that relationship really, really easily, because they can't actually ignore your call, because you're actually like calling to just give them updates on what you're doing. She said, oh. And then what she did was she called them again, she set up a consultation, she raised the price on them, and then now she's making more money. And it was all from building that relationship really, really quickly, really easily, and it's just like, that's a really cool kind of technique you can use. Another person who did this inside of the program's name is Melissa. And Melissa came in and she had about 30 clients, about 25 monthly, and like some five clients were kind of like scraggling, right? But a lot of her clients are really, really underpaid. And like she was undercharging on like most of them. She was charging between like $100, like $150 maximum per month. So like I literally told her like, hey, you got to go bump up all these prices, man. And if they can't afford to do it, like, or if they don't want to do it, maybe we can just pass them off to somebody else. But like right now, you got to sacrifice the short term, like the short term money, to go and make the long term return, right? And right now, she's doing about $9,000. She's doing between 9 and 10 grand a month. I haven't checked in with her this week because I know she got like it's cleanup for like $3,500. And the hardest part for her was going back to that first step, which was like, you have to believe that people have money. So when she was coming up and when she was growing up, like very similar like me, like she thought that no one had money. She thought that everyone was like really tight and that money was really, really scarce. And it wasn't really good to like talk about money. It wasn't really good to talk about pricing. And what that was actually playing out was like people were like crying on the phone talking about they couldn't pay her more than $100. And it's like, what? She's like, yeah, they're just not making any money. And it's just like, come on, man. So the first thing we had to do was we had to just give her all these examples of like, hey, do you see how your client who said that he couldn't afford to pay you $50 extra a month did this? Yeah. That's more than $50 a month, isn't it? Yeah. Did they go and get their hair done recently? Yeah, they do it like twice a week. And then they try and write it as like a business expense. Okay. And then do you see also how like they just bought this cool new car? Yeah. Like, come on, they have money. So it's like we had to just kind of break that out of her and just like, oh, okay, cool. It's so hard to price yourself that it's worth your time. Teresa, I don't know if we spoke in the past. Send me a message about that, man. We got to get you whoa, that would cancel the live if I did that. Teresa, send me a message, man. We got to get you an easy way to kind of price that. Generally, if I'm working with someone, I give them like a pricing calculator. If I'm not working with you, I can give you like just some things on like whether to price it hourly, so you can make sure you're like maximizing how much money you're making per client. Or I could even give you a way to price flat rate and just give you guys like an estimate so that you don't have to worry about undercharging. But I just don't give you like the full pricing calculator if we're not working together, because you might really not know how to utilize it. Nicole said people will try their best to lowball you. You have to be confident. Kind of, Nicole. So Nicole, people, it's almost like there's transactional and then there's relational. Okay, so let me flip my hand. So transactional means that they almost treat it like they're shopping at Walmart, and they're like, when they're shopping at Walmart, they're looking for the lowest price. They're looking for a discount, right? Versus when someone goes to like a Gucci store or like a Coach store, right? They generally have a relationship with the brand. They think that, if they buy this, then it's going to people are going to look at them a little bit differently. They think that, it's a reputable brand. You're going to have this thing for life. And it's a totally different conversation. So if you come across like you're a transactional one, like I was talking about earlier, where it's like you only want to do your work, you never want to talk to anybody, you don't want to have any client relationships, you're going to be on the transactional side, and they're not going to want to pay you any money because they're going to see it like, oh, I'm trying to get the lowest price possible. Versus if you're more of like a person to them, they have a relationship, they see how by working with you, it's going to help their business grow. It's going to take a lot of things off their plate, and it's going to help them be a little bit less frazzled. And you also know how to do, budgeting, forecasting, different things like that to help them. Exactly. Tammy said there's a lot of psychology to it. If you price yourself too low, they don't see the value. Exactly. So yeah, Nicole, that's one thing too, Nicole. Like if you just learn this one thing, you could probably add about $200 per month to most of your quotes. If you just learn how to like slow down the conversation and build a friendship with them. Oftentimes when I'm like teaching people inside the mentorship program, I always encourage them to do like a 15-minute consultation or a 15-minute call first and then do the 45-minute consultation. And the reason why is because, yeah, you could sell them on one call and you could get them to pay you like $500, $1,000 a month. But generally what I like to do is like the first call, make it more about them and getting to know them as a person. So a good example of this was like I was working with this person. He started a nonprofit. He had like 3 other 8-figure companies, and he was just getting started with his newest company. And I asked him, dude, why are you starting this? Like, you have all these other successful businesses. He's like, well, one, I have like partners in there, And, we recently just found out that, one of his daughters had like some kind of like a mental illness, and she wasn't really going to be able to take care of herself in the traditional way. And he had just started having like some health problems. So he was really fearful that if he didn't really get this stuff going right away, and he didn't have another business that could be just dedicated to giving all the profits to her, or being able to set up money aside for people like her, then he was going to die and she was going to be left unprotected. So he actually started crying when we were talking. It was just like, yeah, man, it's really deep. He said that's why I need someone like you, Bryce, and your team, because I know that you can help me run this thing, and I know how important the financials are to a business, and like that's the part that I'm really really weak at. And he's like, I just really appreciate you taking the time to even like do this, because I know that we're not talking money, we're not really talking about the price right now, or we're not even talking about accounting, but I'd really just like that I have someone to talk to, because like in my business I have no one really to talk to, because they all see me kind of as this thing that to be afraid of. No one really asks me like how I'm doing. No one really cares how I'm doing. It's just they want a paycheck from me, and then they want to go home. They want to just kind of do their work. But I really appreciate you just even checking up on me, following up on me on LinkedIn, sending me those cool reports, just talking. I really appreciate you, Bryce. And that's literally how it was supposed to be a 15-minute call, but it ended up being like 45 minutes of us just talking and him just kind of sharing his life and his background and his why. And dude, it was so easy to charge this guy some money, man. And everyone's like, where do I find these guys? That guy didn't have $1 million in the bank. His business was actually pre-revenue. It's just that he had other businesses. He had a need. He really trusted me. He liked me, and then he said yes to the price. Okay, so that's kind of a sales tip inside of there. If you guys understand that, can you please put a 2 down inside of the chat below? Let's put a 2 down in the chat below. Okay, let's just kind of answering one of the comments right now. Awesome. Let me know if you understand that. Put a 2 inside of the chat. Okay, new comment. Teresa understands that. Hello, Jeanette. Joanna, Monica. Joanna, send me a message afterwards. Let's do an update, because I didn't see you earlier this week. So you can make sure you're still on progress right now. But yeah, guys. So the final thing to note is you get what you ask for in life. Let the other person tell you no. Okay, so if it's on LinkedIn, like a lot of the students when they come into my program, they're like, Bryce, I'm so afraid of rejection. I'm so afraid to put myself out there, right? And it's oftentimes because like you see this person's profile on LinkedIn, or you see them on Instagram, you see like just this big business, and sometimes you get a little bit fearful, especially if you don't have a lot of clients. And you start telling yourself no, like this is why I won't work, this is why they're not going to hire me, they already have somebody in place, they're so big, they have to have somebody in place. Instead, what you need to start getting really good at is just putting yourself out there and letting them tell you no, and then don't get offended. Like, don't even care. It's the same thing when you're asking for money. Ask higher than what you actually want. If they need to, they can negotiate down, but if you start with what you want, if you want to get like $500 per month, you probably shouldn't start at $500 per month. You should probably start at like $600 or $750 per month. And they'll say, oh, that's way too much money. And then you can kind of talk, and then say, well, boom. Okay? And it makes it so much easier for you to start going, versus most people, what happens is they get very, very frustrated. They get very, very scared. And then they're just like, oh, man, they just totally rejected me. They don't see my value. It's like, it wasn't like that. You just have to learn how to haggle, have to kind of call somebody out on their kind of BS. And if a business owner is like, saying that they have no money in the bank, it's like, well, earlier you said that you had this much money in the bank. Or earlier you said you guys just hit a new revenue target. Where did the rest of the money go? And they'll be like, well, blah, 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 blah. Then you can call them out again. Well, hey, man, do you have your financials, like, in order? Well, no, blah, 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 blah. Well, I thought earlier you said that this thing, right? Well, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And if you just keep doing that, they're like, yeah, I'm just being stupid. Like, that happens so much more than what you probably think it does. Where a business owner who's doing a lot of money, who originally tries to lowball you, just ends up going like, what am I doing? Why am I haggling over $200? Why am I haggling over $1,000? And they're like, okay, how do we get this thing going? And it's amazing, man. It's so amazing. But you have to really come down and just be confident. You have to understand that no does not mean no. It just more means like not right now. And have more fun with what you're doing. Like just have fun. Throw your weight around a little bit. Like be fun. Have some swagger. Talk. Feel like you deserve more money. And then ask for more money. And that's the secret to charging these rates. And like that's why our client results keep going up inside the mentorship program, because I'm just telling people to go and like raise their prices and just ask these bigger businesses for more money. Now, if you want some help going and growing your business, maybe you've been trying this thing out and you're tired of like, trial and error, why don't you book a call with me? Okay, on the call, we're just going to say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is why you're really being held back. Like, I know you think it's this, but from being where I'm being and from the people that we've worked with, like, this is actually what's slowing you down. And then we can say, like, where do you want to go? Like, if you don't really have a goal, if you say, like, the sky's the limit, that's how I generally know someone isn't going to really make much money. Because if they say the sky's the limit, it's like, well, what size client do you need in order to reach the sky? How many clients do you need to reach the sky? How many people do you need to talk to? Where do you need to go and reach the sky limit? But if you instead say, I have to make this much money to pay my bills, like $6,000. Okay, cool. So that's 2 clients at $3,000 a month. Okay, or cool. That is X amount of clients this month, X amount of clients here. So this is how we can go and approach them. Okay, so once we have that, I'm just going to say, okay, so this is the game plan. This is what you need to do to go and make more money and actually reach your goal. If it makes sense, we can just work together long term to accomplish it together. If not, at least at the very least, you have a game plan, you know exactly what you need to do in order to go and try to accomplish your goal. So if that's you, go ahead and click on the link, book a call with me. I'll see you on the other side. Okay? I'm going to get going, guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your patience. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. Have a good one.